You're listening to the Women in Cybersecurity podcast, where global voices meet to inspire, inform, and ignite change in the world of cyber. Hosted by Yuri Diogenes, Alexandra Francu, and myself, Yulia Iancu, we bring you real stories, expert insights, and bold conversations from the front lines of cybersecurity. Now let's dive into today's episode. Hello and welcome to the 13th episode of Women in Cybersecurity podcast. I'm Yulia. I'm here with my co-hosts Yuri and Alexa, and thank you very much for tuning in. Today we'll have a friendly conversation, a real-world conversation about risk, about resilience and security leadership. I wish that you find this conversation insightful, and if you do, make sure to share it with your community. Now let's start by learning some more about our guest.
Hello, everyone. I'm very excited to introduce Renata Vincoletto. Renata is the Chief Information Security Officer at Civica, where she leads the organization's cybersecurity and risk strategy, protecting critical services and data across complex, high-stakes environments. In addition to her CISO role, she serves on the advisory board of the Center of Cyber Safety and Education and Step It Up group, bringing an executive lens to cyber resilience, education, and social impact. Renata is also deeply committed to developing the next generation of security leaders. As head coach and mentor for IMD's Cybersecurity Risk and Strategy program, she has guided C-level executives in mastering strategic cyber frameworks and building organizational resilience. Previously, she worked as a cybersecurity advisor at Microsoft, acting as Security Operations Center Manager and CISO advisor for several Fortune 100 companies, delivering follow-the-sun coverage in some of the most demanding environments. Her journey across advisory boards, executive education, and frontline cyber leadership shows what it looks like when a security leader combines strategy, empathy, and execution. Renata's work doesn't just protect systems, it elevates people, proving that strong, inclusive leadership is key to securing our future. Welcome to the show, Renata.
Thank you. I'm kind of really flattered with the introduction. I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you for joining, Renata. We had the pleasure to meet in December in London when you were part of the panel at the Microsoft Security Days London. You had some really great insights. And interesting note, Renata, just like me, is Brazilian. So we were, I got her by surprise when I started speaking Portuguese with her in London.
Yeah.
She was like, wow. So it's always good to speak our mother tongue when we are in different places, right? So I think that my initial question to you, Renata, is how you got into cybersecurity. Did you start in IT and then migrated to cyber, or it was always kind of cyber related?
I think from the beginning, I knew where I wanted to go. I wanted to go to cyber. Let's see. Long story short, I was at university. My background degree is physics, so it wasn't exactly IT. I wanted to be an astronaut. Yeah, that's what I really wanted to be. But glasses in that time they wouldn't allow that. So yeah, so I thought, okay, so maybe astronomy, something like that. And while at the university, my university was partners with the Cisco Net Academy, and I was introduced to the program. And they were asking people if they wanted to join it. There was like some sort of a test for you to join, etc. And some people were selected, and I was selected for that. I thought it was very, very cool. It was something that I really wanted to explore, to understand more about networking. I'm very curious about how things work, right? That's why I studied physics. And from the Cisco, CCNA, and all the other courses that they have, it's very detailed, explain things in detail and how the communication go from one place to another and so on. So for me, that was very cool. And I kind of left the physics because of that, because I found something that would fill my curiosity instead of having to understand, study the universe or not being able to be an astronaut and so on. But I discovered that studying the internet, TCP/IP and communications and protecting that, it was something that would fulfill my curiosity side. And as soon as I started with understanding how networks work, I realized that I wanted to go to more like how to protect that, how to make this, or how can I break this as well? That's that part. Is that possible to break? If I can break, so someone else can break, and if someone else can break, would that be malicious? Can I protect? Can I prevent that to happen? So that in less than probably 1 year, I was already working with cybersecurity. I was still at university. I got my first internship, and then I moved to started to teaching. I was a checkpoint instructor then. Started to teach checkpoint firewalls and Cisco as well. And I started at information security manager at Siemens in Brazil. So it was very quick when I realized what it was, and I thought it was super interesting, and I just decided to go. Yeah, I don't know if probably I knew it from the first time that I got the gist of it, that's what I wanted to do. So I kind of moved from physics directly to that.
Amazing.
If you were to look back, what would you say that are some of the most obvious or non-obvious decisions that kind of shaped your path to the current CISO role that you have?
Ooh, obvious and non-obvious decisions. I think the obvious ones were jumping to the opportunity. I saw that trainee was a kind of a scholarship for Cisco Net Academy, and I saw that as an opportunity. I was very curious about that, and I jumped in, full body to that. Don't didn't want to waste the opportunity. So I would say go for it. If you feel that something is interesting and you would like to explore that, go for it. And I I believe that curiosity has helped me with that. To be curious and open to learn. I think that was the most obvious, thing. And the non-obvious. Wow, I think one thing that is not, I always try to apply, especially in my CISO role right now. I think risk, in general, security in general, is something that we need to apply to all parts of our life, right? So our lives, we deal with risk all the time. We are always doing some sort of risk assessments about everything in our lives. So I think using that, what I see, for instance, raising kids or whatever it is that you are doing, you always have to make decisions. What is the best for them? What's the risk for my kids? What is the risk for my family, and so on? Using that and applying that to cybersecurity, to my roles in general, because I think it helped me to be more human, maybe a more human leader. But it is not very obvious as well, because if I stop to think, I always did that my whole life. Always making the decisions and applying some sort of risk assessment for everything, and that kind of helped me to be a better leader, I suppose, or to make the right decisions in my position right now. If that makes sense.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah.
So very interesting about hearing about you wanting to be an astronaut, because I also had that wish, but yet I've landed in the cybersecurity world.
And as well, Star Wars or Star Trek? That's the point. But the very big question. I don't know.
Julia might be a bit too young for Star Trek.
Yeah.
It's also it's a high stake environment to be an astronaut. So as it is for you to be a CISO right now. So have you ever thought about any similarities in skills that you need to have in both of the areas?
Yes, I think lots of those skills are transferable, and I think that's why I said it's less obvious, applying your life skills to the role itself. And also from being an astronaut, how many risks you are facing, right? You have to make very hard decisions, and decisions that need to be done sometimes in a stressful moment, and you need to be with your head clear. You need to be calm to make the right decisions. So I think all of those things, if you think about how our life it is in general, um, if we try to transfer those skills, we will see that um, we are preparing ourselves. We just need to make sure that we know how to use those skills in other areas, how to transfer those skills that you have from one area to another. But yeah, it is kind of sometimes it's scary place to be, working in cybersecurity, and sometimes it is. I sometimes I joke with my husband or even with my team that I try to abstract what I see in my daily job, um, because sometimes if you think about that and you see the risks around you, you won't be able to sleep. You won't be able to. How can I leave my kids to go to the internet? These type of things, or my parents, or my family, or all the risks that we see. So you have to kind of abstract, because it's all there, right? Everything, it's there, and it is accessible and easy to reach.
Yeah. Since you are pretty strong on risk assessment, and as you said, you use this as part of your life, tell us a little bit more about this immigration to UK. You probably had also a lot of thoughts, and what is the risk, and what is the advantage, and
Yeah.
everything. So, when this happened, and what really made you make this jump and decision to move?
It it was a very risky move, to be honest. I was in a very good position in my career at that time back in Brazil. I was like information security officer. I was the second for the CISO at Atento, which is a Telefonica company group, quite a big group in Brazil. I was very well known in the community. I was around 30 in in a very good position already, right? And my husband was working for Yahoo at that time, and he was not very happy there. He is a developer, a software engineer. He was not very happy. He's also a physicist just like me, from the back. That's where we met. And he wanted to go to the academia. He really wanted to go to academia, but in Brazil, it's quite hard for you to find jobs in as in physics, in academia, and then and because he has a background as biologist and computer science, he was offered a job at Cambridge University to work with the Genoma project, and he thought it was amazing, and we thought that's the perfect opportunity for him. It wasn't for me, but I decided that it was my time. That was the moment to support him, and also to go in an adventure. As I said, it was risky. We had to be very brave because I had a 4-year-old kid at that moment, and when I moved, I was 5 months pregnant. So in you leave your whole family behind. You are going to a completely different country that you don't know the culture. You don't know the market. I didn't have a job. He had a job, right? So I was moving, and I was moving pregnant. So I knew that I will had to wait for a period as well to be able to find a job. I stayed out of the market for 1 year, while pregnant, and then the kid was growing a bit, and then when he was ready, I decided to go fight for a job. So lots of very hard decisions that we had to make in that time. But again, I think, as I said, when you see an opportunity in front of you and just go for it, sometimes you have to be brave and embrace the risk, you know, depending how your risk appetite is, right? In that case, we just embrace the risk and said, let's do it. If it doesn't work, we can come back, Yeah. Anyway, so we decided to do it, and it was perfect. We still live in Cambridge after almost 20 years now. My kids, one is finishing his master's, and the youngest one that was born here but was made in Brazil. He is now in his first year at university as well. So yeah, things worked out well.
Proud mama moment.
Yeah.
Proud mama.
Oh, yeah, very, very proud of them.
That's so inspiring to hear your story and how you and your family embraced this risk. What would you say that keeps you balanced in this world full of risk, right? Even in your career, in your job, you're surrounded by risks.
Yeah, I think it's try to stay human. Try to be connected with your human side. And I try, for instance, at work with my team, I try to keep a quite close and personal relationship with them. I have one-to-ones with every single member of my team, and it's not small team. We are talking about around 50 people. I don't have one-to-ones every day, obviously. With my my directs, I have once a week, but with the rest of the team, I try to have a conversation with them at least once a month, like a one-to-one, to understand what they are, what makes them tick, what makes them, what drives them, why they are doing what they are doing. Do they like cyber? Do they are doing for with a purpose? And for me, this is very important to be able to keep balance. It's to understand what other people have in their minds and what's driving them. Because I am a person that I need to be driven by a purpose. Some people, they just go to work because work, money, I need to pay my bills, etc. For me, that's not enough. I need to have a reason to be working for something, and that why is that important for me? And I think fundamentally, this is what keeps me balanced. It's to have this clear purpose, why I'm here, what I'm doing here. For Civica, I'm here to protect citizens' data. That's what driven me. Civica has its hands in every single county council in the country. We have NHS data, we have education data, we deal with schools and etc. So at the end of the day, it's my data, it's my kids' data, it's my neighbor's data. And I want to make sure that this data is protected. So this is what it's driving me right now, right? So, and I think that helps me to keep balance with all the crazy stuff that we see around there.
Okay, that's great. I want to know, when you look at risk dashboards or board reporting or operational priorities, which are 3 signals that matter most to you when you take a decision or you are making an executive decision?
Oh, wow. That's a very tricky question. Let me think about what are the signals in the risk dashboards. I think that first, again, it will be what is the important piece for me. In this case, the citizens' data, if how those data, how the risks are related, because not all data are made equal, right? So I have not minimizing something or another. For instance, we have customers that we have systems with our customers that will deal with bin collection. Okay, so it is an important system. Citizens will go there and click, and they want their bin to be collected in a different day or something like that. But this data is not as important as for instance, a GP will then need to prescribe a new medicine for you, right? This is a completely different types of data. So this is what I try to focus it mostly what type of data is this. So I have my dashboards are usually focused on this, prioritization. What type of data is it? PHI? Is it PII? Is it finance data? So I need to have these numbers easy in front of me. And I would say that how they are being exploited in the wild, because sometimes we have some vulnerabilities, we have some risk, but they are mitigated somehow or in a way or another. But there are other ones that, let's talk about the software vulnerability, for instance, that we know that if that software or if that port or that tool is exposed to the internet can be exploited because there is already tools or people exploiting that. So I try to use that to understand and put together this is what we need to prioritize now, or that's the one. So to be quick in the decisions. Mostly that. Yeah.
Right. So I'm gonna continue to go to that trajectory of your immigration to UK. You arrived there, and you are pregnant. You don't have a job, and now you are in the highest position in a company as a CISO. But to get there, you have to reallocate yourself, and you have to find your first job. What were the main struggles that you faced to find your first job? And to prove yourself in this new country, new language, and everything?
Many, 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 many. Especially because first you are a woman, right? In Brazil, I was already facing some problems. For instance, when I discovered that I was pregnant with my first one, I was offered a job in a consultancy just before I started at Siemens. It was supposed to be my first big job in cyber. Just like after I finished the internship, I was offered this job, and that's when I had all the training for checkpoint and all the other stuff. I was there for 2 or 3 months. I didn't even had my first interaction with the first customer. Right, I was still doing the training. The company paid like a equivalent to around £20,000 in 3 months in training for me, right? And I discovered that I was pregnant, and I told them, and I was in a probation period, and I was automatically fired. And they told me that I was fired because I was not the right person for the job. I was not fit for the job. And I told them, no, you are firing me because I'm pregnant. And they said, no, that's not related at all. It's because you 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 are not exactly what we were hoping you were. So for me, that was a very big blow.
Was it even legal this to fire someone?
I was on probation. In that time, if you were on probation, they could do anything. I don't know how the rules are, the laws are in Brazil right now. Maybe Yuri knows. I don't know, but in that time, I wasn't protected. I even tried, but there was not that. And with that, kind of took a few days to mourn and to cry. And then, yeah, let's move on. They won't stop. I won't stop because of this, right? So that's when I got my job at Siemens. But then I moved, and I moved that I have to again start all over again, proving myself. I am in a country that I don't speak the language very well until now. It has been 20 years. I still feel that I don't speak English very well. At least my kids, that's what they tell me. They make fun of me. Okay. And when I moved to Cambridge was very different from São Paulo. São Paulo is in Brazil is the center for everything. So all the jobs, all the cool jobs, they were there in São Paulo. Cambridge is not London. So it was very hard to find the right job. And all the cool cybersecurity jobs, they were in London. But I had a 5 years old and a less than 1 years old baby. I couldn't commute to London every day. So what do I do? And I started to look for jobs just in Cambridge. No cybersecurity jobs here. People are not interested in cybersecurity yet. There is a very big startup scene in Cambridge. That's what I thought. Okay, so what we can do? Let's reinvent yourself. So I started to work more focused in IT with a hat on cybersecurity. IT was very much on demand. So I started working as a CIO, head of IT, but also bringing the cyber together with me. I never left that. And with that, I helped probably 3 or 4 startups in Cambridge to build their IT department from scratch, most of them, and their cyber department. I would never let that, it was under my remit in a way. And after 10 years doing this in Cambridge, I thought I started to see more and more jobs focused on cybersecurity here in Cambridge. And that's when I decided to, okay, now I will move completely to cyber again. But I already had that experience as a head of department or CIO or head of IT department. And that helped a lot to move to head of cybersecurity or so on, right? And to be honest, I never had to go to London to work. Today I work for Civica. Civica is based in London, but I go to the office every now and then. We work remotely, so every 2 weeks, every month. So I'm not based in London. So after 20 years, I can say that I managed to still stay near my kids, go with them to school, take them to after school clubs, and go to their assemblies and go to their teacher meetings and so on. Working here in Cambridge, obviously the salary was not as good as in London, but it was enough to keep us going.
Very interesting journey. What would you tell to your younger self now with the mind and experience that you have now? What would you tell yourself?
I would say, and I keep telling that, I still keep telling that to myself. Don't let people tell you what you can eat and what you can't do, because that blow that I had back there when I was pregnant, it really affected my self-esteem, and I'm still today fight the famous imposter syndrome. Right? Every time trying to repeat to myself, no, you can do it. You are good enough. You are good. You are here because they believe in you. It's not because by chance. But I sometimes I still hear they're telling me that I'm not fit for that. You are not fit for this job. So I still hear that voice of someone telling me that. So I would say to my younger self, don't listen to them. The same way that I keep telling to the old self now.
So during this time, because it must have been hard for you to raise a baby and also find work, and this can often lead to burnout and a lack of pressure. And now you are working with teams that maybe deal with this type of fatigue, about alerts, about the stress, the pressure. How do you create psychological safety for them to also be performant, but also not go into burnout?
Yes. That's one thing that it's really important for me. I always keep that in check with my team. And I always keep that in my direct to make sure that they are doing that with their direct, to make sure that they have time to rest. For instance, we have institute the Fridays without meetings as well. For my team, this is not a Civica rule. This is a CISO Civica rule. We don't have meetings on Friday, so they can focus in other stuff. Because meetings, it is too much. And I love that that saying. There's another meeting that that could have been an email, right? There's the famous phrase.
Yeah.
So I try to make sure that they are following this. We have our CISO town hall every month, where we also try to recognize all the heroes that we had during that month, and we make a very big effort to show who are the heroes. And to be honest, I heroes. We at the same time that we want to praise them because they are doing so much, I also try to make sure that they understand that they need to take time for their family. I don't let them work after hours. I that's something that I don't let my team do it. If they need to do it, they have to give a very, very good excuse for me, explanation to me, because it doesn't make sense. I went to that rabbit hole once in my career, and it led me to burnout. So don't do it. Try to take time for yourself, time for your family. I don't let them do work related emails or conversations over weekends and etc. So they have that time for themselves. And also making sure that we have the right size teams, right? Because sometimes it gets too much. So I always make sure that they understand, do they have enough people in their team? Do they have the right tools for them to perform their jobs? And that's one thing that I always do, is fight for my team. For when budget wise, for instance, going to our executive team, I fight for them to make sure that we have the right amount of people, enough resources, and they are not pushed to the limit, because we don't want there's it's no good for anybody, even for the company. We don't the company doesn't want burnout people, because sometimes you will lose the most important asset that you have because of burnout, right?
Excellent. Great point. Going back to that question, because you started the answering the question, say that you experienced those problems in Brazil as a woman. Did you experience anything similar in UK to establish yourself? Were you extra challenged just because you're a woman, or you felt pretty safe in difference from Brazil?
I would say that it was much better in UK, but there was still problems. For instance, there was one of the companies, one of the startups, that I was the CIO and CISO as well, right? Everybody that was reporting to the CEO was part of the board, apart from me, and I was the only woman. And I challenged them, why I'm not there. Oh yeah, we don't have space for more people in the board. And then at some point, another function came, and it was added, and it was a man. So I told them, that story is not working for me. So I left the company, obviously, because I said, I don't, even if they added me to the board now, I don't want anymore, because I think it was, no, already they proved how they their feelings or how they thought, and that's not a place that I want to work. So I moved. But after that, I would say that even before that, I had very good experiences. My my managers, they were always very supportive. Um, and I think that's the fundamental part as well, to find the right manager, right? People used to say that you start working for a company because of the job itself, but you stay because of your manager, or you leave because of your manager, right? So yeah, all the managers that I had, either men or women, they were amazing. Um, Very approachable, supportive, and very helpful as well, from something that probably I didn't have too much in Brazil. Maybe probably even in São Paulo. São Paulo is everybody's very workaholic in a way. It's very work driven. But I had this opportunity to be to be with my kid, to sometimes I could leave work earlier to go to either teachers meeting or something, or arrive late because I had to take them to the doctor, etc. It was much harder in Brazil and when I was with a small kid. So I think it, again, not judging. I don't know how Brazil it is now, but comparing Brazil 20 years ago when I was there and now, I would say that it was much easier here.
What skills do you think that are needed to have as a CISO?
I think it was a time that a CISO needed to be a technical person. You needed to be technical to be a CISO. I don't think that we are there anymore. Met many CISOs that are amazing in their jobs and they are not technical people. But they need to want to understand the technical side, not deeply, but they need to understand at least what is important from a cybersecurity perspective. And they need to be, like, the most important, in my opinion, is need to be able to understand what's happening around the world, what are all the threats that are happening right now, and how can I translate that to the board or to the CEO or to the executive team. So I think probably
To speak an executive language, you mean?
yeah, it not just speaking the executive. I think the CISO is a translator. You need to translate all the technical terms and show to the executive team what is relevant to them. They don't want to see dashboards with vulnerabilities or how many nines or fives or whatever, how high risk or what's my security score or whatever it is. They want to know what that means for them, what that means for their business, and what that means for their business continuity. So I think that's what you need to be able to do. That's the most important skill currently, is to have this capacity and to have common sense in certain areas, right? I think common sense is always very important for everything in life.
Yeah, very true. So I learned that you also mentored executives in cyber risk strategy programs. And I want to know, what's your take on leadership without authority? And do you think there is any blind spot at C-level executive?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a very good point that you raised. Leadership without authority. I love it. I think I will steal the phrase and use in a few moments when I need it. Because there is no leadership without authority, right? Or you need to have some sort of authority, or you need to have your back covered by someone who has authority. Because otherwise, it's very hard to make things happen. Although I also think that leadership can be done by example, right? So sometimes you don't have the authority, but with your example and with your way to help people understand how things are, you become the authority, right? So you can turn yourself in that figure that people will look and try to go, and it will go for reassurance or for advice and etc. So I think that's a very important skill for someone as well, and in anything in life, not just for cybersecurity. Don't try to impose your leadership, but try to lead by example, right? But at the end of the day, you need to have the authority, or either given to you, or you make that happen. You kind of created your authority by your leadership, by your example.
One topic that we even kind of discussed during Security Days in London last December, and you gave your insights there. I thought it was pretty interesting. But we are starting to leverage AI more and more. And what is your vision from the CISO standpoint in regards to AI, and how is going to help you, and how you are starting to use AI for your job?
I think there's no way to escape AI, right? It's the same when we had the industrial revolution in the 200 years ago or more, or when we had the computer revolution in the 70s, 80s, or the smartphone. There's no escape. This is a new tool that we have, and it's here to stay. So again, and I think that's the word, the important word. This is a tool. I think that's how we need to think about this. It is a tool, but we are the humans, and we use that tool, right? We need to keep that in our mind. Uh, and I don't think that will be possible for people in the future to avoid it. People, I don't believe in those things that people say that, oh, AI will take over everybody's jobs, etc. No, I think you will take over certain jobs the same way that machines during the industrial revolution took some people's jobs because they became relevant. So what we need to do is adapt our jobs to make sure that we are adapted to the AI itself. And using that as a CISO, I would say not just for CISO, but for threat intelligence, for vulnerability management, for SOC, for our SOC as well. It's for as agentic AI. It's very useful for many things, for understanding patches and lots of things that they can do that is so boring. And we, as human, we struggle to do it, like a patching. Who likes patching? I don't know anybody who likes patching. For me, patching is like I always make this comparison. It's like washing the dishes after lunch. You just I could, particularly for me, I hate washing dishes. Right, I hate. So you wash the dishes after lunch, and what's the point? You will have dinner later, and it will all be dirty again. So for me, vulnerability management and patching is exactly that. It's boring because you have to do it, and there's no end. There's no like everything is fixed now. No, tomorrow we will have loads of more vulnerabilities again. So we can leverage AI to do this boring stuff for us. The thing that's it is annoying, and they can do it in a very, very good, very well. So we can use our creativity, our intelligence to do the cool stuff, to use the human common sense, to have the human judgment over what AI is doing, right? So yeah, I think that's what the type of job that will see to exist. But I don't think that anybody will miss it. What's your job? I patch, I fix, I apply patches for machines. That's my job. That's a very boring job. And a person should use their capacity to do something more cool and leave that to AI.
Are you getting in any way ready for this AI world by getting more learning, some certifications? And if so, do you have any recommendations?
I'm trying to do as much as I can, so I'm learning from different vendors. So I'm learning all that Microsoft, for instance, they provide from their learning academy. You have lots of very interesting things as well in AWS, Proofpoint, and I also go to agnostic, let's say, trainings that you can you know follow and understand and learn more and be ready, and going to conferences, listening to other people, what they have to say, reading. And we have our internal training as well. We use our internal platform where we have lots of training for AI on cyber technical parts like SOC, or how we need to will incorporate AI in our policies, framework, or in our MCPs, or in how software is being developed. So all those things is something that we are constantly learning. And to be honest, it's one of the things that I like about cybersecurity, that you can't stop learning. And I love learning. And we are always reading and always studying. So yeah, that's basically what we are doing. I want to go for proper certification, AI certification at some point. It probably will be something related to privacy. So I was thinking about the um, IAPP certification. That's the one that I'm focused, and I'm looking forward. I don't know if you saw them. There's, I think it's AIGP, is Artificial Intelligence Governance, something professional. This one, it's something that it looks very interesting, and I am taking the steps to maybe certify myself in that one. Let's see. Maybe just go for, have the training, but certification is always cool as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
Renata, sometimes AI is seen like a wave, and it started very small and you're in the water, it's nice, but then it's starting to get bigger and bigger and then more agitated. So then some people might feel like they drown. And what do you think would be the surfing board in this situation as AI is getting bigger and bigger?
Wow. That's a very cool question. What could be the surfing board for that? I think at the end of the day, it will be our human collective common sense, in a way. Our capacity to distinguish what is real and what's not real, which is becoming more and more complicated with new AI capabilities, and I think that will be a challenge for us in the future as well. What will be, for instance, for elections, or fake news? We were already seeing lots of that in the past, and with AI, it's even easier. Or phishing attacks can be more and more, special phishing scam, very hard to identify. So I think it is our common sense, but the common sense needs to be updated, and updated it with education. So again, the surfing board, education. I think if we don't educate ourselves, and if we don't educate, for instance, at schools, we start teaching AI and cybersecurity at school level. We need that. The new citizens will need that. We Otherwise, we won't be able to surf this. We'll kind of be drowning. Yeah.
Well, we are at a time. It was a great conversation, Renata. Thank you so much for joining us. Excellent conversation, beautiful story. Very proud of a Brazilian making waves and success in UK. So that gives me a sense of gratitude to have you here. Extra sense of gratitude. So thank you. And this is it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. It was lovely to be here with you guys, and lovely meeting you, Alexa and Julia, and Yuri. Obrigada.
Obrigado.
Thank you, Renata.
Thank you all, and stay tuned because this year we have a great lineup coming up. And stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe to our channels in YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And see you next time.